So today we have Vivo's latest device, the X80 Pro 5G, co-engineered with Zeiss. And this time they're going even crazier with the camera section of this thing. Take a look at this image right here. This is a monster camera unit, but the focus here seems to be on cinema specifically. Now, obviously you're gonna be able to take photos. You have a quad camera setup. You got a periscope lens on there. You got an ultra wide, but they've got some new cinematic modes, which are gonna aim to sort of recreate a true camera experience, but on your smartphone in collaboration with Zeiss. So the tagline, cinematography redefined. 12 gigs RAM, 256 storage, Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, 4,700 milliamp hour battery. This one in front of me is in Cosmic Black, 80 watt fast charging, and then 50 watt wireless charging. So you guys know I'm a big charge guy. Display here, 6.78 inches, 120 hertz refresh. AMOLED is gonna be nice to look at. Resolution 3200 by 1440. Of course, you can toggle that back for battery savings. Same goes for your refresh rate. Camera setup, 32 megapixels on the front for the selfie camera, then the quad unit on the back, which is gonna be capable of those very high resolution 50 megapixel images on the main camera, a 48 megapixel, 12 megapixel, and 8 megapixel coming in at a variety of apertures, and of course, a variety of focal lengths. Okay, so let's check out the box here. As you can see, it almost looks like a camera box. They've been using this styling for a while, and it's very suitable for this Zeiss partnership. We pop the top and you get your first glance at this camera module. The cutout here looks circular, but it's actually even bigger than that. You'll see that in a moment. Look at this monster. Big rectangular section with the circular portion in front of it. It's actually symmetrical in the sense that, like, if you lay it on the table, you get this kind of angle towards yourself and then you don't have wobble. We have our flash unit, triple camera setup here, Zeiss branding, also the T-Star logo for lens coating, which of course is pulled from the professional camera equipment now here in your smartphone. Periscope camera down below there, and then this finish on the back, smooth to the touch. It has a little granular, almost sparkly look depending on the reflection, and then otherwise it just appears to be matte. It says professional photography along the top. On the right hand side you have your volume rocker as well as your power switch, and then down on the bottom, SIM tray, dual SIM capable with a gasket for durability, so that's going to be dust, water, etc. You have a USB Type-C connector. That's where you're going to plug in your 80 watt fast charging. And then you've also got your speaker unit on the bottom right there. Actually, I should give you a little preview here. Since this has so many specific cinematic qualities, Mo has already taken this device out into the field. He has shot some video. I'm going to be playing it back, watching it, seeing where and how I can spot these features and how the software hardware combo is attempting to recreate the experience of a full cinema camera on here. So I'm going to be watching back that footage, and obviously you'll be seeing my reaction as well. The other thing I'm noticing here is this massive fingerprint section. So this is one of those situations where you have a much larger target than you would typically have for your thumb. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but I promise you it is. You never miss. It unlocks very quickly, and this should be the future for every manufacturer to have. I remember checking this out on a Vivo concept phone ages ago, and now to see it in the actual retail product is quite nice. Also, looking at the front here, you can see the symmetrical front-facing camera. That's 32 megapixels as mentioned, and they've put it dead center. You also have a little bit of subtle curvature, even though you have a 6.7-inch display. This curvature makes it feel a little bit smaller in your hand, in your grip. Also in the package, a little bit of paperwork as you would typically have, but also a case to get you started. So very slender, slim case, which, as you know, I'm a fan of, with the sides cut out. It's not gonna add too much bulk from a width perspective, but then it's just gonna go ahead and protect your corners, give you something out the box for a little bit of protection. And in this other package here, how about that? A headset included in a device in 2022. Type-C connector on this end and microphone included in the box. Maybe because you're doing all this cinema stuff on the phone, you can now monitor it with the included headset. Power brick, absolute monster, 80 watt max capable. We plug this baby in here, and boom, charge animation, charging. Then it identifies flash charge, and you can watch it go up in real time. That's what 80 watts will do for you. You'll never have the smartphone equivalent of range anxiety because you are recharging so quickly that as long as you have this thing with you, you know that all you need to do is find an outlet for a matter of mere minutes in order to juice up for the remainder of the day. Big fan of fast charging, big fan of 80 watts. You can see we are in maximum brightness. You have adaptive brightness options, screen resolution options. You can toggle it back to 2400 by 1080, which is actually the default out of the box. Obviously, the only reason you would do this is for battery savings. Obviously, I'm gonna lock it 3200 by 1440. Screen refresh is kind of the same. There's a smart switch feature which will dynamically shift between your slow and fast refresh depending on the circumstance. 60 hertz to lock it for battery savings at the lower refresh. And then once again, I'm gonna put it at the ultra high 120 hertz and keep it there for maximum smoothness. So this is the process of adding a fingerprint to this wonderfully large fingerprint scan region. I'm gonna go ahead and start inputting now. That was it. My God, that is precise and that is fast. I'm in. That's all it takes. I can adjust the size of it if for whatever reason I wanted something smaller. But of course, I want the biggest target possible, so I'm going to leave it at large. There's different animation styles as well, whatever you prefer here. Ooh, look at this one. And that one is more subtle. It's completely up to you. Let me go with that one. Since it's really prominent, you'll be able to see it easily. There's even another page. Get out of here. Okay, fine. Let's do that one. Oh, the icon itself has its own animation, and it can be circular in size, but I feel like the rectangle is easier to hit. I'm gonna leave it at that. So let's go ahead and try this out. Bam! It's lovely. It doesn't get old. It's fast. They have made so many improvements over Gen 1 of this technology that when you go to a device that doesn't have this, you feel like you're missing something. In some cases, I feel like I just want to switch phones just to enjoy the seamless fingerprint unlock without even, you really feel no extra energy. You just tap and you're ready to go. And that's it. You don't think about it. And that's when technology's at its best, when you're just in the background doing its thing. So I talked about the camera a lot. That is the focus of this device. So let's go ahead here. So we're in the default photo mode. There's a Zeiss button here for Zeiss's natural color, obviously HDR. There's macro capabilities. This is your 1X camera. And look at that. Without even being in portrait mode, you're already getting quite a bit of decent blur in the background, decent bokeh. I can pull it out all the way to 0.6 for that ultra wide, which I'm a fan of. Obviously 2X brings us right into the detail on the can, and 5X takes it a step further. We can see the little beads of condensation on the can. So plenty of versatility and decent bokeh without even getting the software involved from a portrait mode perspective. Of course, portrait mode is built in. So if you want to enhance that further, if you want to do any types of beauty functions and so forth, you can. You've also got night mode, which there's examples of that I'll show you in a moment. High resolution is in there if you want to take a 50 megapixel photo. And then, of course, we have video mode, the core focus of the marketing around this phone. Inside of here, there's a style button, including the Zeiss cinematic button, where you can see you get this anamorphic look, and you can toggle the amount. The amount is sort of relative to how much blur, how quickly you want the focus to fall off, and how extreme you want the effect to be. There's also natural built in, and then there's separate movie LUT. Simply by selecting a different LUT, you can change the feeling of the scene. You can kind of crush the blacks, make it look dramatic. There's a cyberpunk setting in here. You can see you get that bluish, purplish tone. So this is gonna allow you to obviously create your very own cinematic masterpieces to rival those Hollywood films and so forth. You also have settings up here for stabilization, which is in its default or standard mode at the moment. There's also an ultra button. That's gonna toggle back your resolution a little bit, but then you got Steadicam. So that's really incredible at 1080p 60. Buttery smooth. If you need that option, maybe you're shooting action or you're just trying to create cool shots for social media, like zooming in on something. I'm sure you've seen all this happen. You can also use the horizon leveling feature, which is basically like magic. The way this works is no matter which way you rotate the phone, the horizon remains locked. When the phone shakes substantially, such as shaking and rotating 360, the camera remains stable and level. Now, the beauty of this is sometimes you're at an event and you're just kind of rolling like this, rolling on some video. Maybe it's a sporting event, and you don't really want to be looking at your phone. You just want to be like kind of using your eyes to see the event in real time and then holding your phone so you're capturing the moment for later. These are the moments where your hand tends to go like this or like this, and you end up with just brutal looking footage. With this lock, it's essentially your hand becomes like a tripod, except you don't need a tripod. The horizon is that stable and it doesn't move around. Even if I got all the way to this like kind of crazy incline like this, I don't need to think about it. I just know that I'm gonna be locked into place. So this is a major feature that I like on these devices. When it comes to resolution, obviously you can go all the way up to 4K, 4K 60, but then there's 8K, 8K 30 frames. That's also built in. You can see in 4K UHD, I do have the ultra wide available. I have the 1X, I have the 2X. If I step all the way up to 8K, it's 1X, 2X, exclusively. And then at 1080p FHD, it's the 4 options all the way up to the 5x zoom. And then the AI mode is in there as well. And then you unlock all those variety of cinematic features as well. Now, when it comes to photos, you also have a pro mode, and the pro mode, taking some inspiration from the Zeiss relationship, more professional interface in which you can modify things like ISO, your aperture, your white balance and such. One thing I like here is the way they identified the variety of lenses, so you can quickly recognize which one you're switching to. So telephoto, medium telephoto, standard lens, and of course ultra wide, and the ultra wide looks ultra wide. If I click on the more button, we have an ultra HD document scanner. We have a super moon mode for those moon shots, AR stickers, pro sports mode, and there's even a dual view mode, which is gonna let me capture the rear facing camera and the front facing camera for a reaction to a live event. I'm gonna reach for beauty and go to original. So there's no beautiful retouching going on here, no buffing, no skin tone. Of course you have that if you like. You've got even beyond that, I mean, check out the makeup options, my goodness. Check out the posture. I mean, there's a lot that you can do in here. Okay, so let's go ahead in 3, 2, 1. We have concerned selfie face, and we have 32 megapixels of pure joy. Can't you tell how joyful I am in this photo? Now, it is time to check out the true masterpiece of this particular video, which is that wonderful cinema mode. Our in-house cinematographer, Mo, has taken the device out in the field, and he is now going to showcase his work to the world. Let's play it. Ooh, wow. Kirk went full film school on it. Ooh, fancy. Cinema, welcome to, oh my goodness. Not bad. I feel like I'm in the south of France right now at a film festival. Shut the hell up. Now, obviously, listen, obviously, okay, I'm a guy in the world who has this job. So I'm peeking at the fringes. I'm trying to see the edges of the technology. To the average viewer on the YouTubes, this is looking a lot like how a traditional camera behaves. You can do stuff with this. You actually baked those cookies. So obviously in this is that's a tough shot right there with the brick wall, because the brick wall has edges. I just chose this freeze frame because Mo's really enjoying himself, but also so that we can see the edge of the hat. Now the hat is gonna be a little easier to cut out compared to hair. This frame right here, look at the edges of his face. Like the camera has effectively cut him out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and ask you in this moment, was this the maximum cinematic setting? About halfway?
More than halfway.
A little more than halfway. So this is a 60% setting. And if you found yourself in a situation where you felt the technology was overreaching, overdoing it, you could always toggle this back and go for a more subtle cinema effect in order to kind of diminish the ability to see the fringe of where the focus fall off lives. So the other important part here is this is a 2x zoom on some of these clips, including this one. Of course, you can see them identified in the bottom corner there. So you can check out the performance differences from the main cam to the 2X. Like, that's fast too, because that's just straight up autofocus. So that's impressive. Even if you weren't using the cinema mode, that's just a straight up autofocus movement from his face to that cookie. These street sounds are pretty good too. And also, how come no sharing on the cookies? I didn't see these at all yesterday. Like, what happened there? Oh, plant life, flower life, plant life. That is a nice frame. This is one of those frames where the smartphone company would be doing their own marketing. This is the frame they would use. Like, if they had to pick one from this whole, they'd be like, nah, he's eating the cookies. We can't put that in. This one, they would choose for sure. Look at the vibrance. I don't even know what that flower is. So this is the 1X mode. Camera audio. This shot looks incredible. This is pre-baked cookies. Pre-being baked. 4K, 30 frames, camera audio. Look at Mo, just Baker Mo over here. 8K sample. What? You guys are down by the river? On a weekday? You guys got to see Canoe Guy? Yeah, 8K is ridiculous. Now, obviously, there's some limitations here as far as the other camera features you can use when you're in 8K. And I'm only looking at it on a 4K monitor, but still. We have some portrait photos here. Now, of course, this is a typical feature on smartphones, but you can kind of compare this, see how believable this is. This stuff has gotten really good over the years as far as being convincing. I'm not even going to comment on the Kirk's pose there. These cookies continue to play a role in this cinematic movie here. We have some more photo samples, the versatility of having multiple lenses to choose from and kind of what that means in an environment. All the way up to 5X. There's probably some macro shots in here as well. Ah! How did I know? How did I know? Macro's fun. And night, obviously. Night is useful not just in pitch black, but also in lower light environments. This is night mode with the lights off. And here we have normal mode with a tiny little light source, and then night mode with a tiny little light source near Jack's new drum kit. We've, of course, also got the crazy resolution photos, 50 megapixel. You won't be able to tell in this video what that's capable of, but it gives you a lot of options for cropping later on. And, of course, fin. It is over, because after all, we are in the south of France. This has been the Cannes Film Festival. This has been the latest device from Vivo with a tremendous amount of cinema focus. Some of that stuff was kind of fun. You've got to admit, you're going to let your creativity shine, courtesy of Vivo. That is the new X80 Pro co-engineered with Zeiss.